And Ken Kreitzer for Cam Vets. Me to get a chance to talk to the offensive coordinator for the Army football team, and that is Cody Worley. And Coach, you got a challenge ahead of you. What is it like preparing for a top 10 team like Notre Dame and their defense?
Well, I mean, in the preparation and the things that we do weekly, those things won't change, but we understand how tremendous they are defensively and how they're playing their best football right now. And they're about to get one of their All-American defensive linemen back, and they're playing at a really high level across the board at every level. So we understand the challenge at hand, and we've got to continue to have great practice and preparation to give ourselves a chance.
And look at their stats. Their defense has a lot of sacks, tackles for loss. And when I saw them play against Navy, they put a lot of pressure on Navy quarterback. It was a reason Navy fumbled all those times. What do you see about their defense that puts pressure on the offense?
I think they're big, they're talented, they're athletic at all three levels. And they're very well coached. I mean, it speaks for themselves. Marcus Freeman's done a phenomenal job as a defensive coordinator and earned the job there, and that's why they have one of the top defenses in the country. They're led by Al Golden. So you look at that unit as a whole, they're extremely well coached. And on top of that, they're very talented. So when you put those two things together, you get the results that they've been seeing really all year. And they fell one time in a game where they still played really well defensively. So, it's a tremendous challenge at every level. It's a tremendous challenge to block them up front, at the second level, at the linebacker level, and then to spring things on the perimeter will be a challenge. So, we've got a work cut out for us.
Is the key to just try to get out ahead in this game, be able to run your normal offense, run the rushing game? And how do you prepare your offensive line for playing a team like Notre Dame?
Yeah, I think one of the things we always stress, no matter who the team is we can't reinvent things. Just because we're playing Notre Dame doesn't mean that the fundamental toolbox that you've had since June, July, that's the toolbox that is to prepare you to win. So our guys can't reinvent things. And yes, they're going to beat us at times, but we've got to trust our fundamentals. We don't need to reinvent things. We need to continue to do the things that we need to do to be successful and just do it better if they do beat us.
You're just thinking about North Texas game, Bryson and Daly ran 35 times, took a lot of hits. Would you like to distribute the ball more, or is it just Bryson's going to take what the defense gives?
Yeah, it was one of those games. We had 6 possessions. I think the slots had 12 touches and Kanye had 13 touches, and it was one of those games where we were able to get into 3rd and short and 4th and short. So a lot of those carries came in those situations where we're going to run the quarterback and then you get in the goal line scenario. But even on the 21-play drive, you start on the -4. That's quarterback run driven, and then there were several 3rd down and short conversion downs, 4th downs, and then we got into the red zone. And I believe almost 10 or more carries came on that drive alone. So, naturally you want to distribute the ball and force them to defend the things that we do offensively, and it just happened to be a game where we relied more on him.
My question is it special for you to coach at Yankee Stadium Saturday night, national television, 50,000 people? Yeah,
it's a tremendous honor, and I grew up, the old facade and the old saying, somebody old coaches say, and Coach Monken says it because he grew up as a Chicago Bears fan, but the old cliche, well, they're not the Green Bay Packers. Well, when I grew up, the coaches that coached me, they used to say, well, we're not playing Notre Dame. We are playing Notre Dame. So, I mean, it's the next football game. It's good to be playing in a game that is meaningful in November. You get to play in a historic Yankee Stadium against a team like Notre Dame. It's a tremendous honor, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Go over to Zoom.
Hey, Cody, Ken McMillan from The Record.
Hey, Ken, how are you?
Good, buddy. Hey, when you face a Notre Dame defense, is it really the one-on-one battles that have to be won, or are you do they throw a lot of blitzes and crazy things at you to throw you off?
The way they're built, they force you to win one-on-one battles. And their scheme, the way that they play against everybody, not just us. The way that they defend you, they feel good about them winning one-on-one battles. And it's going to be one-on-one battles across the board, and that's something that we've got to neutralize and try to do our best to win those battles. But it's going to be a challenge, and they're really well coached. The way that they defend our style of offense, obviously with the history of playing Navy every year, and Marcus's, Coach Freeman's experience at Cincinnati and playing him there with a tremendous team. It's a huge challenge because they know what they're doing. They're very talented. They're very skilled, and they play really hard on defense and running the football.
Did you learn anything from the Navy approach that might help you?
Yeah, I think you take something from every game and every opponent. There's certain things that that we do similar, or are similar in formations and some things of how we try to attack. So, you know where they're going to be. You try to diagnose their calls and see how, if the best opportunity to succeed, whether that's inside, outside, pass game, whatever that may be. But they mix it up quite a bit as well to keep you off balance. So, our guys got to understand, they got to trust their fundamentals, they got to trust the scheme. Even if we have a negative play, we got to come back, and it's one play at a time, especially in a game like this. So that's been stressed, but it's going to be a challenge.
What's it like having a guy like Bryson Daly, though, helming the offense here? He just seems to have probably the perfect attitude going up against Notre Dame.
I think, the way he's played, game in, game out, when he's gotten his opportunities, he's a guy I know that won't flinch. The opportunity to play in Yankee Stadium and play against Notre Dame, he's played in Navy games, he's played in Academy games. I don't think he's a guy that's going to be too big for him. I just hope he can settle in and execute and continue to play at a high level like he has all year.
Do you feel like you have enough, I hate to use the word tricks, but do you feel like you got enough angles to kind of throw Notre Dame off balance?
We certainly got to keep them off balance. We can't get stagnant, and we got to try to keep them to where it's complex enough, where they're trying to get lined up and do their keys, which they do really well. But we've got to have enough to keep them off balance, just like every opponent every week. I think one of the things that you stress as a coach and to the guys is it's not the plays, it's the execution. So we're not going to invent new plays just because it's Notre Dame and try to trick them, so to speak. You got to line up, snap in and snap out, and you got to do your job. And you got to continue to do your job and do your job better, and hopefully that'll give us a chance.
Speaking of the scene, Yankee Stadium, are you a baseball fan?
I am a baseball fan. I grew up a big Braves fan, so I've never been a huge Yankee fan, to be honest. But just that brand and playing in Yankee Stadium and now living in New York for 5 years, and just the pageantry behind that, and the teams that have played there and the players that have played there, it's a tremendous honor.
I'm sure, yes, it's a football field, but I'm sure you're out there probably thinking for a second, Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I'll definitely soak it all in pregame for sure. It'll be a really cool venue for our players and for us as a coaching staff for sure.
Sure, last two things here. Offensive line, you guys were put up for the Joe Moore Award semifinals. How cool is that for Army to get recognized in that?
I think it's a great honor and a tribute to their success and their hard work, and and the coaching staff. I say it a lot, but they're really well coached. They're every practice, every rep, they have feedback and they want to get better. And you can coach them hard, and they understand that they haven't played their best football. They got to continue to get better every week. But it's a special group, and I'm really excited for them and proud that they represent us in being one of the top offensive lines in the country, and they deserve it.
We had Will Jeffcoat in a few minutes ago. Can you just tell us about his journey? He played a lot of games 2 years ago, got hurt with the ACL, has bounced back, and has put himself in the mix. Tell us about this kid.
Yeah, tremendous story, losing his father in preseason camp, and having a season-ending injury last year. He's overcome a lot of adversity, and he comes to work every day. He's always a guy that has, I wouldn't say a smile on his face. He's not that type of guy, I'm sure, as you talk to him, but his work ethic and determination, and he meets with Coach Beatty or Coach Drinkle at least twice a week, and just to see his progress this season, and really being able to be a guy that can then go in the game and factor in, and be a guy that we want to cycle in the rotation. But he's come a long way, and he's doing a great job, and he'll continue to get better.
we had to rush through the presser this afternoon, so I didn't get a chance to ask Jeff, but he was named one of the regional coaches of the year. Just give me your appreciation of what kind of an honor that is for Jeff.
Yeah, the biggest thing I say about Coach is consistency. And that's with us, that's with the program. Anybody that touches the program, he's the same guy. You know, and it's the details, it's the little things. And as a head coach and the CEO, I think there's nobody better. You know, and the way he manages and the way that he brings the best out of us. He challenges us as a coaching staff, therefore challenging the players. But, you know, I wouldn't say it's always 4th and 1. You know, that's not the mentality. But, you know, the things that we know we have to do to be successful, he reinforces that daily. So, you know, to have the success that he's had and to be able to work for him, it's been a tremendous honor. And he challenges me, he challenges us every day to do our best and be at our best for our kids. And it shows up, and he deserves it.
How cool is it to be in the AAC title game?
Well, I'm obviously not looking past Notre Dame. That's the only thing I'm really focused on right now. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great season up to date, and we'll get there when we get there. I'm focused on Notre Dame.
But just to qualify in your first year, that's got to be pretty cool for Army.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks for the time.
Thank you, Ken.
Coach John Charan from CamVets Media. We've seen how Notre Dame has capitalized on turnovers against Navy and Virginia. You had a couple of them in the last game. Could you talk about the importance of winning the turnover battle and what you're doing to make sure that what happened in the last game doesn't happen again?
Well, if you look at their defense, they're tremendous at causing turnovers. You know, and they rally to the football, they run to the football, they punch the ball out, and you can tell that's coached and drilled, and they do a really good job of it. And when the ball's in the air, you know, it's a lot of times they've come down with it. So the decision making is critical. You know, and the turnovers last week, that's very uncharacteristic, and we were lucky enough to play a really nasty, ugly game and made it an ugly game for both sides. And we were able to come out with a victory, but we've got to learn from that. You turn the ball over twice against Notre Dame, you're not going to be in the winning circle, that's for sure.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, John.
All good.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Coach, so show you some.